again from South Wales. It's Derek Cummings. I don't actually come on here that often because, like all of you, I do suffer from illness. I'm not Superman. I've just got over the head cold from hell, and I did have another exacerbation early last year, to be expected with very severe COPD, but you know, I keep positive and I keep going, and that is the main thing. Why am I so positive? I don't know. When I was a baby, I had whooping cough. That's what damaged my lungs quite severely. One of the main reasons that I now have emphysema. I then at the time lived in London, so we had the enormous smogs in the 1950s, yellow pea soup as you couldn't see your hand in front of you. That obviously did a bit of damage. And then when I was a bit older, I had something called sarcoidosis. So I had a lung biopsy. They chopped a little bit of lung out. That done some damage, and silly me, I did smoke for a short while as well. That actually made it worse because I haven't smoked now for a long time. And now I've got emphysema, but I do stay positive, and being positive is one of the main things that you can actually be. Anyway, we are going to talk about several things today because I've asked for my specialist for lung valves, because the Zephyr valves I believe will help me to breathe better if I'm suitable for them, and only a few people are suitable, but you have to go through many tests. And one of the tests I went through was a full lung function test at a hospital recently, and I managed to get my FEV1. FEV1, when I did the test, was 26%. Now, 9 years ago, my FEV1 was 25%. You would expect by now, after 9 years, well, most people say you're going to be dead after 9 years anyway. It doesn't work like that, as you can see by me. And in actual fact, it's improved by 1%. It goes up and down a little bit anyway. But the main thing is that I'm not as bad. And a lot of people have said to me, well, why do you remain so positive? And how do you just keep going? And it can be hard to keep going. And I'm going to try and explain that in this video. I'm going to do a slightly different format. You're going to get pictures with me talking over it. Bear with me. Have a nice cup of tea, I would, and sit and watch this. I hope you don't get too bored. Anyway, let's get on. We have to realise that one of the main problems we do have is pollution wherever we live. So if you live in a city, if possible, get out of it, because that's not really going to do you any good. I'm lucky. I live in the mountains of South Wales, so there's lots of clean air here, even though we do live near quite a polluted city, Cardiff, in the south of Wales. But my advice there is, if possible, keep away from pollution. You'll save yourself in the end. You must listen to your body and realise whether you're getting sick or not. We all know if we're getting sick, and the difference can be very fast, especially with a pneumonia. I've had it in the morning where I've been perfectly okay. In the evening, I've been in a terrible state, hardly ever being able to breathe, and a couple of times I've ended up in hospital with pneumonia. So keep an eye on your body, and if anything's going wrong with it at all, then get something done. Start taking your emergency pack. Don't leave it, because it really can be life or death. It saved my life a few times, I believe. Another thing I always do, I do a lot of research into COPD. So research your subject often on whatever you fancy looking. There's always new treatments and options available. They're coming online faster than ever before, new treatments and everything. And somewhere in there will be a paper. Now normally it'll have a caveat on it that more research needs doing, etc, etc. But you'll have an idea which way it's going, and you'll know if help's coming along. And in my case with the valves, I knew about the valves. I'd done a lot of research into them, and I knew that it was worth going for. I know the results, I know the risks and everything else. You can help yourself doing a lot of research. And don't forget, doing a lot of research keeps you positive, and you can see the absolutely tremendous amount of work that's being done to help us. Another thing that is worth pointing out is to improve on your inhaler technique for asthma or COPD. In the past, spacers have been used a lot for asthma, but are now increasingly being used for COPD. That is the kind of thing where you may have a Ventolin inhaler, a fast reaction inhaler, but nowadays I use a product called Trimbo, which is also CFC, which means I can use an inhaler, and believe me, the difference to how I feel with using the CFC is absolutely enormous. So if you're taking any type of CFC that's not a powder, does not work with powder, you would need something special with powder, with CFC, then do it and have a look at the difference and tell me the difference. Put a little comment there, say I've tried CFC and it's absolutely doing marvellous. One to watch out for. Another one that is very important in my eyes is to eat properly. Some of you may require several small meals a day rather than one big one, but make sure you eat properly and keep an eye on that weight. Slightly overweight is better than being underweight. I always aim for slightly overweight. Too many people with COPD are underweight and that actually does you no help at all. So aim for something slightly above and you'll be doing okay. Another thing that I believe is sleep. Sleep is very important. It what repairs our body when we're asleep. If you're having problems and waking up every hour on the hour, which I used to do, what happened with me, I went to see my specialist and found out I was actually going too low on oxygen when I was sleeping. So that is worth looking into if you keep waking up all the time. But other than that, try to sleep and rest as much as you can. 8 hours a day does me absolutely perfect. I feel better for it. In fact, I probably couldn't function much less without it. So see what you can do and see if you can get a decent amount of sleep, because it will help your health. It helps my health for sure. Stress, that really is a bad one, isn't it? So don't try to rush to do things. Don't ask people to rush you, because if people try to rush you, or you try to rush, or you try to get things done in a hurry, you will end up getting stressed. You will end up getting very breathless, and it will take you 10 times as long to do any job. So have you been there? I have. I've done it, and I think we've all done it. Learn to pace yourself, because pacing yourself is what's important. Now, you must keep yourself moving. Of course you must, to a certain degree. Try and give yourself half hour to an hour a day where you're not sitting in a chair, that you're doing something, you're moving around the house, you're moving around the shops if you're able to walk around the shops, or anywhere you can do a little bit of exercise. Try and do half hour to an hour a day. That will help you enormously. Don't do nothing. Doing nothing is fatal, the same as stress. Stress is also fatal. So try to reduce your stress. I do, and it works marvellous for me. Sometimes to reduce stress, I just stop for 5 minutes. I just say, that's it, I'm going to sit, and I let my mind go blank, and I just sit there and go stress-free, and it helps me enormously. It's what helps me. We're all different. It might be different for you. If you've got a different answer to it, let me know. I'll give it a go. Some of the things so far, but you must remember as well that there's lots of people around who are trying to make money out of you because you're ill. The snake charmers, if you like. If you take this, you're going to be well for life. Doesn't work that well either. Myself, I use a mobility scooter for getting around. I can't walk very far. I get far too out of breath, and anyway, I've got to carry a big iron lump of oxygen cylinder with me. There's lots of things we have to do. We have to change our lifestyle. But I'm always looking for things that may improve me. Is there something missing? Something that will help me, that will help my condition. So I do take supplements. Now, I'm in no way saying to you, go and take these supplements, these are going to do you any good. If you feel they will, go and see your doctor, maybe ask your doctor if they think they will, or you could try them on a small scale anyway. But the supplements I take vitamin D3 supplement. The reason for that, I think, is essential, and most people with COPD have been proved to be low on vitamin D3. Now, you've got two things that if, like me, you have to stay indoors an awful lot of time, you're not getting sunshine. If you're not getting sunshine, you're not getting vitamin D3, because the skin makes vitamin D3. There's several reasons. Up here in the Northern Hemisphere, we only get about 5 months of the year when your body can make vitamin D3. And as you get older, the body is less good at making it. So that's one that's worth considering. I also take something called NAC, N-A-C. Now, I'm not going to say any more about that, but Google NAC and that'll tell you all about NAC. It thins the mucus in your body and does a few other things that helps, I believe helps, and I take that and it does me good. You can get other things from the doctor on prescription, Mucinex I think, something like that. I tried it, gave me a bad stomach, but we're all different at the end of the day. Another thing that I take is a magnesium tablet, because I also found that people with COPD, I'm a right mug and are short of magnesium. What harm would it do? So I take a magnesium supplement and I take a vitamin B supplement because, again, vitamin B, that deals with the nerves and everything else, and as you get older the body finds it harder to supplement with vitamin B. And a new thing that I've tried recently, which I like, is apple cider vinegar. It's diluted, you don't take that raw, it burns your throat, it's an acid, isn't it? But again, you might like to Google apple cider vinegar, and if you have it, what you do is you put a tablespoon into a glass of water. You don't go like that. That's the supplements I take. Here in the UK at least, we are allowed an emergency pack. It's of an antibiotic called doxycycline and prednisolone. The reason for that is it's amazing how often we fall ill with an exacerbation at completely the wrong time, either on a Friday night, a weekend, or a bank holiday. It's happened to me no end of times, and it's got me out of trouble. The idea of this is if you do fall ill, you can start taking it, notify your doctor straight away that you have started taking it, and if you don't have to see the doctor, you will get a replacement. I would advise you, if you don't have an emergency pack, if you're in the UK, definitely to ask your GP if you can have one. If you're anywhere else in the world, I would ask as well if you can have one, in case you happen to get sick when it's the worst possible time. That way it can save you going into hospital and getting very, very ill. Like me, I'm very, very positive. I'm positive by nature, I think, but I always stress to people, try to stay positive, because if you're positive and you look on the brighter side, you will have a better life, you will have a better everything life, a better family life, you will feel better. There's no point in feeling miserable, it won't get you anywhere, it will just make you feel worse. Negative thoughts actually make you feel ill, so try and get out of that, try and look on the positive side, try and find something that'll take your mind off it, that'll keep you busy, find things that you enjoy doing, laugh a lot, because remember, stress, no, that's a killer, it takes your breath away. I laugh a lot, I always laugh at silly things. I was called Smiler when I was a kid, and I still smile a lot now. I still laugh, I laugh all the time. Anyone that's on my Facebook page will notice I'm quite often laughing or messing about. So the simple message is, don't stress it. It just doesn't, it's not worth it. It won't get you anywhere. That's my advice. Pacing was probably one of the hardest ones that I learnt, and that's learning to pace myself and not be rushed, because every time I rushed, I was severely out of breath, and quite often it would be counterproductive, because I would try and rush, I would get so out of breath that it would take me 3 times as long to do what I was going to do in the first place. So refuse to be rushed by anybody, any partner, husband, wife, friend, whoever it is. Refuse to be rushed. If the door knocks, you take your time, you don't rush. If you're going to miss a deadline, you miss the deadline. I have lots of deadlines, but what I do is I just give myself lots and lots of time. In the morning it takes me a long time to get ready to go and do anything. Refuse to be rushed. Learn to pace. Very hard to do it, but you can do it, and you will find an enormous difference for learning the pacing. Again, learn the pacing if you can, and if you learn any lessons, let me know, because I'm always looking for what other people have learnt and not just me. Anyway, another thing that I do have is I have an air purifier, and the reason I have an air purifier is because I have a dog. So if you've got any animals, birds, dogs, anything like that, I would advise you to get an air purifier, because it takes the dander out of the air, or anything that's in the air that may actually affect you. In fact, it's very good for pollen. If you suffer from pollen, tree pollen, grass pollen, anything like that, it'll take the pollen out of the air. Don't confuse that with a humidifier or dehumidifier. They're not the same. This actually just takes the muck out of the air. I would advise going for one with a HEPA filter. So that's about that for now. You've found some of these things that I put there useful. So I'm looking down at my iPad at the moment, is giving me the things to say to you. But I find that planning is good, because planning for the future gives you a reason for living. Let's say that I came through Boxing Day, I got quite ill, as we all do, and I ended up on my emergency pack, and you can get very down. I'm positive most of the time, but I do get downers, I do get depressed even for very short periods now and then, so I'm not Superman, I've already said that. So you have to look to the future. I booked a holiday. I like a place called Dawlish Warren in Devon here in the United Kingdom, and it's a lovely place to go to, a nice few days away. I booked it. Well, I've got something to look forward to, haven't I? I'm also looking at lots of other places to go to. I'm getting a big scooter ready to go there. I'm getting the cameras all ready. I'm deciding what pictures I might take. Planning, and a hobby that is really, really good for you. And any projects at all, anything that gives you an interest in living, because having an interest in living is what really, really matters. It's what really will keep you going. My latest project is to host a film. It's called How to Be. You might like to Google that one. How to Be E. It's about a guy with COPD. It looks terrific film, hilarious, sad at times, and it's a new project. But you're never too old to learn. This is the thing. Never to learn at all, despite our health, and you must enjoy the positives in life, because it's being positive in life that will get you through the CRPD. It's no use sitting there being sad and crying and everything else, because that will not make you feel better. It will just make you feel worse. You've got to move forward. Like everything in life, sometimes we end up with a crap card. There are people, believe me, that have got worse cards than us. I've known several people in the last couple of years who have actually died of cancer. They had it for a short time. I've had this for a long time, but at least I'm still living, I'm still breathing. Yes, okay, I can't walk very far, lots of things I can't do, but there's lots of things I can do. Even work-wise, there's another positive. I'm coming up to 72 now, and I still do quite a bit of voluntary work. Now, my voluntary work, I've gone into a boardroom on my mobility scooter once, and no one batted an eyelid at all that I did that, because they know me, you know. I'll get as near as I can, I'll get off my scooter and I'll go in. But where I contribute is I can go into meetings or boardrooms or anything like that, and I can sit there and I can contribute with my ideas and everything as a patient representative. And you too could be a patient representative wherever you are in the world. You can help other people with COPD, and it's a great thing to do. Anyway, that's it for now, and remain cheerful, keep smiling, because you know the world loves a smiler. Try and be positive. If you've ever got any questions, just rattle off an email to me or something, or ask me a question. I'll get back to you. Meantime, enjoy yourself. Do what you can. Remember, do a bit of planning. And for now, bye-bye from South Wales. Talk to you again soon.